and welcome into another edition of the PHNX Feedback Podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla. Of course, I am your mayor of PHNX. This guy next to me keeps you informed as to when we will be going live. It's your Thunderstick, Jesse Fried.
Somebody has to do it.
Someone has to do it.
Someone
right
has
here.
to do it.
Yeah, someone has to. We had a lot of things to get settled, and honestly, one of the biggest things that people don't understand around PHNX is how much contract negotiations goes on behind the scenes here. You think all of this trades and new acquisitions and transfer portal stuff and hiring free agents is all just stuff that goes on in sports. That shit is going on in this office 24/7, and we had some tough negotiations to go through this morning. We were in the middle of some incredible things happening around here on the PHNX D-Backs podcast, so stay tuned right here. But of course, something incredible that's happening around baseball is the Arizona Diamondbacks are finally starting to get recognized a bit for being the wagon that they are. And we took a look at the power rankings around baseball. We kind of like what we see from some of you. MLB.com, we're still not happy with you. But Jesse actually has his power rankings for Major League Baseball. So we wanted to take a look at those first. So Jesse, tell us a little bit about what you got here.
Let's jump in.
Let's jump in.
So hey, the D-backs are on the list, Derek.
They made it.
That is the big news right there.
We're not the worst. We're not the worst.
Far from the worst. Worst. For those of you joining on audio, I'll go ahead and just run through them real quick, and then I'll highlight a couple of things. So here are my power rankings. We'll start from the bottom of my top 10. D-backs are number 10, New York Yankees number 9, Minnesota Twins 8, Orioles 7, Blue Jays 6, Rangers 5. Did not expect to be ranking the Texas Rangers as a top 5 team on May 18th, but here we are. Houston Astros 4, LA Dodgers 3, Braves 2, and the Tampa Bay Rays. I thought about not ranking the Tampa Bay Rays first, Derek, because they haven't played quite their brand of baseball that they had going over those first few weeks here recently. But, they still have far and away the best record in the league. So that's my top 10. A
lot of American League East teams here in the top 10. Almost all of them, just missing the Red Sox.
And the Red Sox didn't miss by that much.
Not much, right?
That's the scary thing.
You obviously your biggest surprise here, as you said, was the Texas Rangers being up there at number 5. But really, if you've watched the Rangers, if you've seen their offensive output this year so far, that's not that far off base. I mean, they've been a very good baseball team.
They really have. Yeah, the Texas Rangers, I think when I first made my list, I think I had the Rangers at like 7 or 8. And then I looked closer at some of the numbers with that baseball team. Derek, they don't even have Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom has missed significant time, continues to be out for them. And Nathan Eovaldi somehow looks like a Cy Young candidate. I mean, we saw the Rangers a little bit in that series against the D-backs. Jonah Heim is having a breakout season. Josh Young is having a great year.
Aren't they getting Seager back today? Hasn't he also been missing time?
Yes, that is a great point. They also have played, I believe, basically the entire season without Corey. I think the entire season without Corey Seager, if I'm not mistaken.
And they're still that good. With the pieces they're missing. Can you imagine how good they'll be when they come back? And you know what? Much like the Rays team, you never know, right? Like sometimes it might be these guys getting an opportunity. It might be these guys, the young guys that maybe haven't been as good as they've been in the past, peaking right now. But it definitely feels like Major League Baseball is filled with young talent. And right now, those power rankings right there between the Orioles, Rangers, a lot of those teams appearing on your top 10 kind of shows that story of the youth movement in baseball here a bit.
I'm a big run differential guy, as I'm sure people know at this point. At this stage in the season, I just think run differential is really helpful in deciding is this team 500 because they deserve to be 500, or are they 500 because they're like the Marlins and they're minus 45, but they've won every single one-run game that they played, and it doesn't feel sustainable. So a couple teams where run differential came into play. Clutch Canucks says I'd say Snakes over Twins, which is I don't think that would be egregious at all.
No, but would you imagine the Twins being where they're at, knowing that after acquiring Carlos Correa, that his batting average would be 203 at this point of the season, right?
That's honestly a big thing for me, is that the Twins offense has been kind of right in the middle. Their offense has not been great this year, but that's with Carlos Correa having done basically nothing. and their starting rotation is pretty insane. They have Sonny Gray, they have Joe Ryan, they have Pablo Lopez. He's cooled off a little bit in recent days, but started the year one of the best pitchers in the game. Their starting rotation has a lot more depth than the Diamondbacks starting rotation does. And they also have some guy named Joan Duran, who was a one-time Diamondbacks prospect who throws 102 miles an hour and is one of the best relievers in the game. So
thanks for reminding me of that.
The pitching side for the Twins is so significantly better than the D-backs for me that even though the D-backs have the better offense, I'm siding with the Twins just by a slight margin for right now.
And pitching is, I mean, like it's the old adage in football, like defense wins football games, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, at the end of the year, pitching is really what's going to make you a great baseball team. Offense comes and goes. There's different sources of offense. There's times where, like we've seen with the Diamondbacks, the entire team can be in a slump together. But if you have great pitching, you can kind of weather the storm when your offense isn't towing the line and doing the work that it needs to do.
Yeah, it's a great point. And yeah, I mean, I think the Twins, according to FanGraphs, are like second. Their pitching staff is second in WAR, which is like that team. I feel like I have to put at least in the top 8.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, you're not too much different from the rest of the analysts in baseball, right? There's the power rankings came out. We take a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks across the power rankings, and they're honestly right where Jesse said, even with some of those publications that tend to not necessarily give the Diamondbacks the credit they deserve. USA Today has them ranked as the 9th best team in baseball. The Athletic has them ranked right where Jesse has them as the 10th best team in baseball. ESPN has them ranked 11th. CBS Sports has them ranked 12th. And for some inexplicable reason, MLB.com has them ranked 15th because they just like to leave things the way they were.
That's pretty crazy. It takes a little bit of boldness to rank a team that's 25-19 and has outscored their opponents and is 5th in league in batting average like the D-backs are, and say that's the 15th
Here's why.
best team in the
starting rotation. MLB.com still has a lot of questions about starting rotation when it comes to this team, and it is fair. It's a fair, like, we are excited about Brandon Pfaadt being on track, but as it stands, he's had more bad starts than he's had good starts so far in his major league
his
career.
ERA still starts with an 8, so it's gonna take a little while for people to believe, understandably.
But for the most part, I think we all kind of want to just see him trending in the right direction, which we feel like he is. We feel like we know Brandon Pfaadt is better than what he's displayed so far in his 3 outings.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so, right? But again, MLB.com is taking more of a prove it approach, and honestly, rightfully so. Like we talked about with Dre Jameson and Ryan Nelson so much with this team. Both of those guys were just ridiculously good to start their career last year. And now this season, it's no knock at them, but they've actually kind of leveled out more to what their numbers were expected to be as major league, starters. So hopefully they can, still keep plugging along. Ryan Nelson's start was very good. Maybe not as long as we'd like to see it, but it was a very good start and very encouraging as far as, going forward for him. But it's still the Oakland A's, so we don't want to get too excited about anything.
Joan Duran, just for those who don't know, Joan Duran was part of the Eduardo Escobar trade when the Diamondbacks acquired Eduardo Escobar from the Twins several years back. So yeah, I think at the time he was in the lower levels of the minors. He wasn't necessarily viewed as like a top flight prospect, but the stuff was there. And so it was just a question of whether he was going to be able to throw strikes enough and, whether his stuff would tick up even more. And both of those things have happened. Joan Duran is one of my favorite relief pitchers in the game to watch, which, as a, if you're a Diamondbacks fan, hearing that is probably pretty difficult because this team could use a Joan Duran right now, Derek. The back end of the bullpen remains a little bit shaky. So.
I am well aware of that, Jesse. I don't need to be reminded. That's why I'm just ignoring you while you're talking about all of this stuff. But
fair enough.
I do want to say one thing when we're talking about trades and losing good players. I believe we have Dominic Fletcher because of the Paul Goldschmidt trade.
We do.
Is that right?
Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up.
The fucking trade is still alive, folks. And we still might not lose it. That's all I'm saying. We still might not lose this trade.
Somehow, you're right. Somehow we haven't talked about that on the show yet. Yeah, Dominic Fletcher. The Diamondbacks did not trade for Dominic Fletcher, but they acquired Dominic Fletcher as part of the Paul Goldschmidt trade. He was in the form of a draft pick. The St. Louis Cardinals traded
a supplemental
Yeah, I think it was a competitive balance round draft pick somewhere like in the 70s in the 2019 draft. That's the year the Diamondbacks had like 800 draft picks in the first 100, which doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, Dominic Fletcher is here, and he is part of the Paul Goldschmidt trade. And who else is still technically tracks back to the Paul Goldschmidt trade, Derek, is Emmanuel Rivera.
Yay!
The Diamondbacks,
we stand.
The Diamondbacks flipped a few months of Luke Weaver and turned that into what has so far been a pretty productive third baseman. So the trade, the book is not closed on the Paul Goldschmidt trade just yet.
Well, we didn't talk about that. We haven't talked about a lot of things around baseball because honestly, the Diamondbacks have been such an exciting topic for us around here. And
they play a lot of games.
They do play a lot of games. It's like they play every day, you guys. It gets exhausting. But the big story around baseball, for some reason, is Aaron Judge stealing signs. Essentially, right? Is that what the narrative is? Is that he's stealing signs? Is he?
I don't know.
What is he doing? What is he doing with his eyes? Who is Aaron Judge looking at? That's the big story right now in baseball. And again, we can't help but wonder why. Why is this a story? Why is Aaron Judge looking at his teammates? Or maybe, people are saying that Aaron Judge was looking down at the catcher. The catcher would have to be 8 feet tall in order for Aaron Judge to be looking sideways at him and to be seeing anything. But apparently there was a lot of discussion about it being I don't know, like some sort of I guess cheating. And like Jesse and I just found this preposterous yesterday because I hate to break this to you guys, but sign stealing is illegal in baseball as long as you don't do it with fucking video cameras and buzzers and trash cans. And in fact, you probably could still use the trash cans and get away with it. It's just that other technology shit that you can't use to steal signs. But like, this has been a part of baseball forever. I don't understand sometimes how this stuff becomes a topic when there's no rules change about this. Aaron Judge isn't doing anything that MLB has ever banned or not allowed people to do. So is it just because he is a very prominent person in baseball? He hit all those home runs last year. So now people are constantly questioning or looking for a reason as to how he did it, how he got some sort of competitive edge on everybody else in baseball. And not even being a Yankees fan, even though I am a reformed Yankees fan, I don't get it, and I just don't care. This is not something that people should be talking about yet. Here we are talking about it.
I feel like we're a little late to the party. Like every baseball podcast has already spent, they've already done like their 20-minute piece on this incident.
They did breaking news podcasts on this.
There was all sorts of coverage. For those who don't know, this was an incident, I think in Monday's game. Between the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees. Correct. It was at Rogers Center. I believe it was in Toronto. And it was just this bizarre moment where Aaron Judge is at the plate. He's facing a pitcher whose name is currently eluding me. But he's facing a pitcher who is kind of an up and down guy, not a particularly well-known reliever for the Blue Jays. And Aaron Judge, like right as the pitch is about to come, keeps glancing over towards first base. It's a little unclear. Was he looking at the dugout? Is he looking at his first base coach? He just keeps glancing over. And after the game, he was asked about this, and Aaron Judge said that there was some chirping happening in the dugout. And so I think there was an ejection that had happened earlier, and so there was some chirping from some Yankees fans in the dugout. And so Aaron Judge was, I guess, I don't know, giving them the stare or something, trying to get them to pipe down or something. That was his explanation, which was clearly bogus. There's no way. Why if you're going to give them the stare down, if you're going to look over at them, why would you do it in these milliseconds as the pitch is being delivered? That part makes absolutely no sense. And of course, the Houston Astros incident from a few years ago, as you referenced, turned everyone into conspiracy theorists, right? Everyone's a conspiracy theorist. Everyone is cheating.
What's that wrinkle in his uniform? What's that thing about? That looks like a wire.
There's always something going on. And so, people began to speculate, and what has basically become the conclusion, what most people now believe, Ken Rosenthal reported this shortly after the incident. Pitcher's name is Jay Jackson, by the way. He was on the mound for the Blue Jays, sent down to AAA shortly after this incident happened. But he basically openly said afterwards that he feels like he was tipping pitches. Yeah. And so, basically what happened is there was something he was doing on the mound that the Yankees picked up on, specifically their first base coach picked up on that. who by the last name of Chapman. I can't find his first name. Whoever the Yankees first base coach is. He picked up on that, and he was basically relaying to Aaron Judge what the pitch was as it was coming. Hence, Aaron Judge is looking over at first base. But of course, before this news came out, everyone had their theory about what kind of cheating scandal was in play here for the New York Yankees.
Aaron Judge made it 1,000 times worse by essentially lying about it, right? Like, the one thing that is very refreshing, at least to us at times, is how honest the Diamondbacks players are about things that are happening on the field. And sometimes when we go talk to them in the clubhouse afterwards, they give us a perspective that we didn't even think about, right? Like, they're like, oh no, this just thing happened and blah, 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 right? And it sounds reasonable and it sounds factual, and it's an easy enough story to believe. Aaron Judge saying what he said instantly was like, what? That makes no sense.
But he also kind of had to say that, because if you're a team and you've got something on the opposing pitcher and you know that pitcher is tipping his pitches, you're not going to say that, right? Because that's a competitive advantage for you. You can't go on the record after the game saying that,
because then other teams are going to do it, and then not only other teams, but they'll do something to stop him from tipping his pitches.
Exactly.
Well, that's the biggest thing you don't want to end. Right?
The other team is going to be like, we're tipping pitches. Okay, well, let's take a look and see if we can figure out what that was. That's why, as a journalist, I won't really ever ask a question about that, because even if somebody is tipping pitches, they're not going to come back. They're not going to openly admit that.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, it would be easy enough to say, I was looking at our first base coach. He was giving us.
But why would he have been looking at his first base coach unless he was?
Because you get signs from your first base coach. That's nothing fucking new in baseball.
Like as the ball is coming to the plate. I don't know about that, Derek.
I'm just saying. My point being is that looking at your first base coach is not fucking anything new in baseball.
That's true.
Whether you're in the box, whether the pitch is coming, if you would have just said that, that would have been it. Making up this whole thing about people chirping at you. That's the part where I'm like,
he should have come up with a better story.
Yeah, we would see that.
We
would see that. There'd be video evidence of them chirping at you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like everything that we see. The Clutch Canuck been down here. So John Boy's been on the defense force for Judge, just for Herman to be ejected next game. Yeah. Yankees, they're not having a good time right now. But of course, the sticky stuff in baseball, that's a whole other thing right now that's kind of getting a little bit out of control when it comes to that
Domingo
stuff.
Herman, the latest victim.
Man, didn't he have a perfect game going before they found that?
It was
or
like
a no-hitter?
Yeah,
I know it wasn't very long, but still, it was enough for them to be like, hold on, you're not normally this good.
It was Travis Chapman, by the way. It's the Yankees first base coach. But yeah, apparently he picked up on it, and this is a situation where Jay Jackson was openly willing to admit this afterwards, which sort of makes sense from his perspective. You might be willing to just come out and say that, because at that point everyone kind of suspected as much.
Are we soft media, Jesse, here in Arizona? Like, if we ask something like that and we got a no comment kind of thing, right? I feel like we would just no comment, right? If we asked Tori, like, hey, what happened there between Christian Walker and Tony Perez-Chica on that last play? Why was he looking at him? And if Tori was like, yeah, I don't want to elaborate on that, would we push him any further? Because I feel like that he couldn't, like, I feel like Aaron Judge couldn't get away with the New York media accepting him saying no comment on that. Right? Like, you know what I mean? But I do feel like to an extent, like if we were to pester like a player on the Diamondbacks about that, and he just said, I don't, I guess we do get that from time to time. Like, they'll be like, I was working on something. And we're like, well, what are you working on? He's like, I don't want to disclose that. And we're like, cool, understand. Like, maybe we're just more laid back here. I don't know, but it might just be easier to deal with.
Pitch tipping is a really difficult thing to kind
even
of
address,
to kind of dance around
for sure.
As a journalist and as a team. Like, they're, you can't really talk about it. So it's just weird. But the thing that I will say, going back to my earlier point about everyone being conspiracy theorists, right? The Houston Astros situation broke baseball fans' minds. It made people forget that things like sign stealing are a totally normal and I think healthy and kind of fun part of the game.
I remember watching playoff games and having them talking about it mid-game. They're like, the announcers, the commentators kind of start hypothesizing that they think that, hey, we think that the Angels in this case, like, we think that they might have figured something out about the pitcher, And they'll even start sometimes showing clips of them maybe doing stuff on the base path that might be, like sending signs into the hitter or whatever. Like,
and in this case, the Blue Jays, I believe it was the Blue Jays broadcast, Dan Schulman and Buck Martinez were totally on top of this. Two very well-seasoned broadcasters. They were totally like, what is Aaron Judge doing with his eyes? Like, what's going on here? And the other part of this is that PitchCom is a part of this game now, which has made sign stealing considerably more difficult, but has also, going back to the conspiracy theory thing, like, can you hack into PitchCom? Is it possible to intercept the PitchCom frequency?
Like, it is.
Who knows, right?
We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I don't mean on the show. Jesse and I just sat around wondering about this.
Yeah,
right?
we literally sat down and we're doing internet searches about like how you would hack PitchCom if it doesn't seem like it's really possible.
According to an executive from the company that developed the PitchCom, they basically said that this is like this is completely. You cannot.
It's like it's all encrypted.
It's all encrypted
somehow.
Information and stuff, and it's like a very limited. I think it's a very limited bandwidth as far as how far it would go. I think like there's something about the PitchCom units and what the catcher is wearing, like being specifically paired and like nothing else can pair this. It's not like a Bluetooth situation or something like that. However, it's using technology, and if it's using technology, it means that the technology can perhaps somehow be hacked into.
Technology breeds corruption.
That's right. We love it. We love it around here. We love cheating around here. But yeah, no, I mean,
just wait till people are hacking the automatic ball strike challenge system.
You know what I want? I want them to hack the PitchCom and then start sending the wrong pitches into the catcher. That would be even better than just stealing the information, right? All right, cross them up a little bit while you're also stealing the pitches. I don't know, but
could you imagine if robo umps were a thing and the team figured out how to hack it?
Yes,
that would be that. Like, I honestly want that to happen because that would be the greatest baseball story of all time.
I still want the actual robots back there, but you know what it is. Yeah, I don't know. Technology is very corruptible, but more importantly, thank you to the Houston Astros for putting all of these wonderful thoughts in our heads that this could all happen. Before the Houston their jersey. I thank you guys for being here today on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live. Leave us a thumbs up just for our own personal self-esteem. If you're listening to us right now on your favorite audio podcasting app, I promise I will remember you, and I promise I will stop forgetting about you when we show pictures on the screen. But if you can, please subscribe to us. If you haven't done so already, leave us a review. We always appreciate that feedback. You can also go to gophnx.com if you haven't signed up to become a diehard member yet and join the PHNX family. Not only do we have all sorts of wonderful benefits from our partners, from our own personal events and things like that, you get free piece of merchandise from the phnxlocker.com every year you're a member. You also get 20% off all future purchases. You get access to our members-only Discord lounge. You get discounts on our events. You'll get a $50 voucher for Mountain Mike's Pizza upon signing up. That pretty much pays for it right there. Right away. So make sure to join us today. You also get access to Full Count, which is Jesse's newsletter. You'll get access to all of Jesse's written content, the free stuff, the stuff locked behind a paywall, all of that stuff. So make sure to join us today. Also, shout out to our friends at BetMGM, where we will be getting all of our lines from this year, where we do all of our betting, and where we make money on Christian Walker hitting dingers. Walker, single, double, triple, Walker. He hits dingers. Christian Walker having a day. That's the lyrics to the song. Make sure check out.
You have to sing it.
You have to sing it. Walker, single, double, triple, Walker. There you go. Every Saturday and Wednesday, you can claim your free bonus bet on the house from BetMGM. I just did that yesterday, and you should too. Fans automatically receive a bonus bet upon logging into their account. And unlike other betting apps, they don't try to hide this from you. I got an email about it, Jesse. I got a text message, and I got a notification in the app. They were trying to give me my free bet and make sure I didn't forget about it. And you shouldn't either, because your bets do expire after 72 hours, so don't wait. Bonus bets can only be used on any sport wagers. Check out the PHNX, our Cornhole League knockout nights on the first Friday of every month. We will be having those at the BetMGM Sportsbook out at State Farm Stadium the first Friday of every month. We'll have food and beverage specials, giveaways, BetMGM prizes, and so much more. We will also be broadcasting this very show from the site. So if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, BetMGM app yet, Do it now and use bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience, you will get up to $100 in bonus bets on your first wager with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use bonus code PHNX. Sign up before you come to the event. That way you make sure you have the app ready to go and you can already start getting those bonus bets in when you arrive. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
All right. Well, today is a very special anniversary for Arizona Diamondbacks fans and baseball fans alike. Today is the 19-year anniversary of Randy Johnson's perfect game from 2004. Fun day, Jesse.
Fun day.
That you probably don't remember. You were what?
Yeah, I was out at the playground.
4 years old?
Yeah,
at that point?
some. I might have been 5. I think I was 5 at that point.
Yeah, I was drunk, at the game, but no big deal. We both live our lives in separate ways. But
you were at this game?
No, I was not at this game. I believe it was in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, wow. What are the odds?
It was a 2-0. I did watch it though. I did watch it live, and I remember calling my friends as things started to progress in that direction, right? Like, this is what we used to do. We didn't have Twitter to jump on and immediately have people to be talking to about this event that was going on live. You had to pick up a phone with a cord on it and call someone and hope they were home and have them answer their phone with a cord on it. Wild times, Jesse. But it was a 2-0 victory over Mike Hampton and the Atlanta Braves, if you remember. And Randy Johnson was just a young 40 years old at the time when he threw 117 pitches for 13 strikeouts, no hits, and no walks.
It's just, this is what separates Randy Johnson in so many ways is not just the incredible numbers, all the Cy Young awards, all that. It's the longevity, right? It's like this man was a transcendent pitcher at the age of 40. Like you just don't see that kind of thing basically ever in this sport. And looking at his numbers for that season, Derek, 2004, he made 35 starts. The D-backs found a way to finagle a couple extra ones for him, I guess. 245 and 2/3 innings, which is a pretty insane innings count. 290 strikeouts that year and a 2.60 ERA, 0.9 whip, which was, especially for that time, was just completely unheard of. So, I continue to be jealous and sort of sad that I wasn't I wasn't at the age where I could remember things and actually process things when all this stuff was happening.
The team sucked that year, so it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think
it was the only thing to remember that season.
2003 was worse than 2004, but right or no.
2004 was the worst
2004 was
in
the
team
fifth.
history.
Yeah, Randy Johnson was the only good thing happening for the 2004.
He lost a lot of
Diamondbacks.
games 2-0 that year. Let me tell you, Jesse.
Yeah, well, he was only
of
16 and 14, despite being. Like that was his record, despite being one of the best pitchers and finishing second in Cy Young voting.
He had a 2.30 ERA that year, I believe, or maybe that was the next year. I don't know, but he led the league.
260 that year.
Good Lord. But anyway,
incredible.
The big reason why we're talking about this today is, as you may remember, Zac Gallen hit a bird with a pitch and killed it yesterday.
But was it a real bird? While we're doing conspiracy theories,
was it a recording device?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it a sparrow or was it a pigeon? It's very important to know the difference between these two birds. There's plenty of fucking sparrows out there, okay? But the pigeons, they're CIA recording devices. Everybody knows that.
Right.
But the point is that obviously what we need to go back to and think about here is that in 2001, Randy Johnson destroyed that bird. And the Arizona Diamondbacks went on to win the World Series. So
it's a very simple conclusion to be drawn here.
It obviously is a simple conclusion, right? That Zac Gallen is on the same path to win a World Series this year. And then obviously in 2026, he's going to throw a perfect game, right? That's the way that this goes.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, he is on pace for a pretty remarkable season. Maybe not that, but who knows, right? Who knows? Wackier things have happened. We tweeted this out yesterday, though, and you can take a look for yourself. But Zac Gallen is on pace for some pretty incredible numbers there.
Yeah, I mean this is bonkers. Granted, it's a little, the whole on pace thing when you're like barely a quarter of the way through the season. It's a little pie in the sky. You're kind of dreaming a little bit, but it's also really fun. Especially right now for a Diamondbacks team, especially on the offensive side of the game, they have a number of hitters who are on pace to put up pretty gaudy numbers at the end of the season right now. But on the pitching side, no one's better than Zac Gallen. 210 in a third innings. That would be a career high for him in terms of innings. Only 29 walks compared to 257 strikeouts. Of course, the 2.35 ERA, the 0.85 WHIP. Those are the numbers that he has right now. He's also on pace to go 22-4, Derek, which is, as we talked about the other day, that's pretty crazy for a guy who couldn't get past 4 wins.
Oh yeah,
not that long ago.
Not too long ago. I think last year was the first time he finally got over that hump. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, Zac Gallen, of course, is an incredible pitcher. Our friend Jack had to go rain on our parade with these numbers a little bit and try to
I don't know about some fan graphs, projections.
It's his job to be a realist, not mine and not yours. All right, let Jesse bring me down. I don't need you two of you bringing me down.
I mean, to be fair, on pace means on pace. Like this is the season that Zac Gallen is on pace to have.
Correct.
That is objectively the case.
It's different than projected, which projected doesn't really move much from what they projected him to have at the beginning of the season, no matter how well he's performing, right? It might move the needle a little bit. It's kind of like maybe what we were seeing with ESPN's power rankings. Like basically the Diamondbacks are like one position up from where they were when I think ESPN started the season, or maybe we were at 15th when ESPN started the season. But
ESPN was a little nicer, right? It was.
I'm sorry, MLB.com. You're right. Absolutely. My apologies,
right?
Espin. I would never mean to throw you
I
under
think
the bus.
MLB.com started the year. They started the year at like 20th, 21st with a D-back, something like that. Yeah. So, I mean, 15th is a decent bump, but probably not
as much
enough.
as they deserve.
Probably not enough. Yeah.
On all transparency, I think we might have messed up a little bit. And I when it came to this whole
this is all
bird
your
situation. I've been attacking cities in Florida and entire species of animals this week, and people aren't very happy with me. But I think I was a little bit of a hypocrite this week when it came to our last 2 episodes. Damon, would you mind showing some clips that kind of prove what I'm talking about here?
Like, why isn't it meow in the park, not just bark in the park?
Jesse wants somebody to bring a monkey. He wants things to get crazy.
Bring not only your dogs, bring your cats, bring your monkeys, bring your talking parrots that maybe you could teach to like heckle opposing teams.
Doesn't love baseball games if you don't bring your cat to a baseball game. Why not? I mean,
they got to get those attendance numbers up somehow, Derek. We were very pro
just all animals coming to the park, right?
Bird.
We were pro birds, pro monkey, pro dog, pro cat. And now let's take a look at yesterday's video clip after Zac Gallen killed a bird with a pitch. I am throwing shade at birds, Jesse. Birds, because birds have no business trespassing inside of baseball stadiums. And I have no sympathy for this bird getting in the middle of this, ball that Zac Gallen threw. It's not Zac Gallen's fault. He was out there just doing his job. If I ran out on the field and got in between Zac and his catcher and got hit in the head, whose fault is that? Mine or Zac Gallen's? I don't know. I don't know what to say there. So I guess we'll just let those videos do the time. I tend to be a bit of a hypocrite at times. It's fine.
Just a little bit.
I'm used to it. I'm okay with it. But I'll tell you, I need to probably take less OGs and not forget the thing I said the day before on the next episode. But I'm not going to stop because I love OGs, and you should too. They have a wide variety of flavors and doses for you to choose from. They also have their brand new mix bags, which if you are really about the flavor that they're offering, they have their creams and their fruit together in one bag. And oh my God, it's delicious. Not enough edibles companies worry about the taste of their edibles. They just worry about getting you high. That's not what OGs has. OGs makes wonderful gummies that not only taste wonderful, but they have a wide variety of strains and additions that help you not only sleep, but have a great time doing whatever you're doing, stay awake, all of that stuff. So make sure to find them at your local dispensary at ogsbrands.com. Must be 21 or over to enjoy responsibly. And again, let me be your weed Sherpa. If you don't know which ones to choose, you can message me on Twitter. I will happily guide you through the process. Same thing with Four Peaks beers. If you don't know which one to try, we can just start at the ground level of what you enjoy to drink, and we will go from there because Four Peaks has you covered with a huge variety of beers. And of course, you can try them all out at their 8th Street Pub in Tempe. You can also get them wherever you get your beer. Check them out, Circle K. Circle K has Four Peaks. Of course, that's a great place to get them. You can also win some tickets from Four Peaks for the Diamondbacks. Four Peaks, 4 seats promotion. One lucky winner will get 4 seats to an upcoming Diamondbacks game. Tickets will include D-Bucks, so you can grab some food, Wow Wheat, Hop Knot, Kilt Lifter, whatever beer you like. You can enter by going to Four Peaks Brew on Instagram. The link is in the bio. And of course, check out Four Peaks Brew and at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks. Please drink responsibly. We got some updates from down on the farm when it comes to the Arizona Diamondbacks farm system. Of course, as you all know by now, Alek Thomas was sent down to Reno. He was optioned to the Reno Aces. And, there was a lot of positive things said about Alek Thomas. Torey Lovullo commented on how important he was to the team, how important his defense was, and mostly that they just feel like he needs to get some at-bats and get his swing right.
Yeah, and Alek Thomas has made changes from day one with the Reno Aces. We have a number of screenshots here that we can share that sort of illustrate what has happened with Alek Thomas's swing. Are you able to pull that up? Damon? So here is Alek Thomas's first at bat. And he was facing one of the better pitching prospects in the game, a lefty for the San Francisco Giants in their organization, who is I think he's the highest ranked left-handed pitcher in all of minor league baseball as far as his. Not exactly a soft landing for Alek Thomas. Welcome to AAA. You're facing the toughest pitcher available, lefty, arguably in all of minor league baseball. But this, Derek, this is a screenshot of Alek Thomas in his first at bat.
That's a little leg kick right there. That's a little tiny leg kick.
The leg kick is very small. This was not like right at the beginning of the leg kick. This was the highest point of the leg kick. It's more of like him just kind of. It's more of like turning his toe more than anything else. There's hardly any lift whatsoever.
Just lifting the heel off the ground a bit.
Yeah.
Is this something he's actively trying to get rid of, that leg kick? Or do you think he's trying to actively? I know you might not know for sure, but does it seem like he's trying to eliminate the leg kick from his swing?
This is exactly what Torey Lovullo told reporters yesterday when the Diamondbacks made the decision to send Alek Thomas down. He said that there's too much action in his lower half. There's too much movement. This gets a little more interesting though. But before we get to some of the other screenshots, what do you think happened in this first at bat, Derek? Wait, give me a guess. Alek Thomas at the plate. What do you think Alek Thomas did in his first at bat in AAA?
He grounded out softly to the right side.
You are absolutely correct. Alek Thomas grounded out softly to the right side. So not exactly instant results.
Sure.
If we go to the next screenshot, this is a second at bat. This is the highest point of his leg kick.
I see a little bigger there.
Just a little bit higher.
But I'm seeing. Am I seeing his sole of the shoe there? Like, is he kind of turning his leg almost a little bit where he's like angling it and I can see like the bottom of the shoe?
Yeah. I think there might be some like rotational differences there as well. Pretty subtle though, pretty similar to the first time. Still noticeably diminished from what he was doing with the Diamondbacks this season. We go to the next one. This is against a different lefty now. Still,
there's a gap there.
Yeah,
I'm seeing the gap now.
Maybe a little different. Still mostly similar though, right?
Sure.
Like it's still
just a little bit higher.
Yeah, maybe a little bit higher. No super significant changes. And granted, I'm just picking one pitch from each at bat, so there's probably some variance within each of them. If we go to the next one. Whoa, we're back. The Alek Thomas leg kick is in.
You can take the man out of the leg swing, but you can't take the leg swing out of the man.
Something like that.
Oh man, that is incredible.
And then if we go to the very last one, similar story. Yeah. So his first 3 at bats, leg kick very diminished. His last 2 at bats, leg kick pretty much exactly as we saw it before.
It's just part of his mechanics that he can't really eliminate, but it's
possibly
not really something that's bringing him any kind of help, right?
So my theory is that he was facing lefties in those first 3 at bats.
He was facing righties
in those last 2. So there is some argument to be made, like you were just saying, maybe it's kind of reverting to old habits and just gradually throughout the game, he just kind of found his way back to his old batting stance.
Sure.
Or what I think is probably more likely is the D-backs told him, tone down the leg kick against lefties where you're having the most problems, but leave
let it rip against the righties.
Yeah, let it rip against righties. So we'll have to continue to monitor this, but I spent entirely too much time scrubbing through Reno Aces footage and trying to take screenshots last night. It was a lot of fun, but interesting takeaways here.
The end result is that he went 0 for 5 and none of them really worked, but that's not really what they're looking for, right? Again, that's something when we talk about like Jake McCarthy going down and struggling for his first week, even in Reno after he was sent down, and even the struggles that he's kind of currently experiencing. They're working on stuff, and it's kind of like spring training where it's not really the results that are driving them as much as it's trying to fix something that they're doing wrong, trying to fix something in their mechanics. And honestly, both of these guys are too good as defenders for them to be playing at a AAA level, right? So like it really is just about them getting their swing back on track, and then it's more difficult because the Diamondbacks have to figure out roster-wise where to put all of these guys that they have. And they still have other guys that we are waiting to hear back from. Kyle Lewis, we're waiting to hear about. Cole Sulser is another name that I think we're still waiting to hear.
He'll probably be out for quite a while.
Yeah, and then we have
I think we're close there.
Carson Kelly due back in maybe a few weeks, like maybe by
something
end of
like
June,
that.
July-ish kind of.
Yeah, I talked to Carson a couple days ago, and he said he has been cleared to swing, so he's able to actually swing a bat. He was throwing out to 120 feet, I think.
Any pain or anything like that? Is he good?
He said it was okay.
Okay.
But it sounded like sort of a day-to-day thing as far as actually getting into games and going out on a rehab assignment or whatnot. So still have to wait out that situation. It was Kyle Harrison, by the way, was the name of the lefty who started yesterday for the Sacramento River Cats in that game. 21-year-old lefty, one of the best young pitching prospects in baseball. So that's kind of why I'm not reading too much into Alek Thomas going 0 for 5.
Sure.
I watched those at bats, and Kyle Harrison has really good stuff. And even the last couple of bats happened against righties, so maybe you'd like to see him get a hit there, but nothing alarming. It's just one game.
And speaking in other news of players getting hit by pitches, not just Carson Kelly, but Jordan Lawler got hit in the right wrist by a pitch in the first inning of the game the other night. Apparently, they had x-rays done on Lawler's right hand, and they came back negative. He is currently considered day-to-day, but not great, obviously. We have both of the guys that we really want to talk about and get excited about currently injured. Drew Jones is still on the IL with a quad injury as well.
That's been a long time. I think Josh Barfield said it would be like a couple weeks that he would be out for when it first happened. He was placed on the 7-day IL on April 22nd. So that's almost a full month ago at this point. So I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully Drew Jones can get back soon.
The one name that we still don't have much information on is Christian Robinson. We know that he kind of currently remains in limbo, but he should be activated soon. Hillsborough would probably be a landing destination for
Visalia is where Christian Robinson will start. And when the Diamondbacks, as we talked about a week or two ago at this point, they reinstated him from the restricted list, but they haven't activated him to actually be on the Rawhides roster at this point. So he's not playing in games. But I believe when they reinstated him initially, that opened up a 30-day period that they have to activate him.
Okay.
So I think that puts us at around May 31st, something like that.
Is there a
for
reason
Christian
why
Robinson to
they
get
would
back
need
in
this
games?
time?
So I think it's mostly because Christian Robinson had a hamstring injury in spring training, toward the end of spring training, that he's kind of been like slowly working his way back from. Josh Barfield told us during the press conference at the time, the D-backs were hoping to send him out on a rehab assignment, which would allow them to push off activating him, which requires a 40-man roster move because he would become part of the 40-man roster, and that would require them to make a move that maybe they would like to push out a little further if they can. I don't know what the status is on that. It doesn't appear that I can tell that Christian Robinson has started a rehab assignment. But either way, I think by May 31st, I think he pretty much has to play in games is my understanding. So hopefully we get to see him out there pretty soon.
Yeah, that would be something spectacular because I know a lot of Diamondbacks fans that have kind of tracked the progress of prospects have really just wanted to see this guy get an opportunity to come back and play baseball again. And that looks like that might be coming true. So that's a great story as far as the organization is concerned.
It was so long ago. I mean, it's just it's weird to have a prospect that you're so excited about, and then 4 years just pass, and I mean, it's not like Christian Robinson played poorly, right? Like Christian Robinson, the last time he was in the minors, he'd just been promoted to Kane County, the high A affiliate at the time, and he was kind of struggling there. But his numbers in that 2019 season were really, really good. And so D-backs fans just kind of have this picture in their heads of like, oh my gosh, like Christian Robinson, at one point we thought this guy was going to be a star, and it's going to take him a while to work his way back from that, but there's still a lot of excitement there, and rightfully so.
There's a couple of things about that. One, it's crazy how the pandemic feels like the blip now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like we just lost this 2-year period of time that certain just shit was just weird during that time, and we're still like learning how to live life again back normally, post pandemic. But
I still haven't figured it out.
I still haven't either. I still have a drawer full of masks that I don't want to get rid of because I think I'm going to need them again. But Christian Robinson definitely had one of those things that could destroy a career happen to him, and luckily we are now in a place where we as a society understand mental health better, and we understand people having breakdowns and mental health incidents better, because there's a good chance that 10, 15 years ago, this completely ruins Christian Robinson's career. Maybe even ends up in jail, and that's where he remains, right? Maybe he's more talking about getting out of prison rather than playing baseball again. So I'm just thankful that we're in this place now. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, I still believe, and that's something that everybody should just take a moment to think about when it comes to yourself, your loved ones, and everybody around you. But I'm glad, because in my time, I've seen so many young athletes that had the promise of Christian Robinson have their careers completely destroyed, not because their skills as an athlete diminished, but because something outside of the sport ruined their career, and that's something that would just be terrible to see happen to this young man. Yeah,
that's a great point. I really love how D-backs fans have just like openly embraced Christian Robinson. And honestly, they're almost a little bit too excited. Like it's almost like, okay, this guy hasn't played a professional game for about 4 years, so you should temper your expectations. And even back in 2019, he was an exciting prospect, but he was also a very high variance prospect. You didn't really the ceiling was very high, the floor was also pretty low. But I love, just on like a more personal level, how D-backs fans, they know that, there was this altercation with this cop, and that's not a good thing. And it's something that Christian Robinson shouldn't have done. But there's also like this second chance that I think is being freely offered him by basically everyone. And that's exactly the way it should be.
The reason why I bring up the pandemic is because it affected a lot of us in a lot of different ways, right? And it's hard to like wrap your mind around how it impacted.
None of us were fully in touch with our mental faculties.
No. I spent a lot of time by myself in my house, just freaking out over the fact that I had nobody to talk to. Again, hopefully that story has a happy ending for Robinson. Looking ahead, the Arizona Diamondbacks have no game today, which again makes us sad because we don't know what to do with ourselves. I'm going to play Mario Kart. That's why I'm dressed up like this, and then I'll probably listen to Jack Black sing Peaches 1,000 times. But here is the upcoming probables for the series with the Pirates. Again, another winnable series. Starting pitching not that strong outside of Keller. But Keller has had an incredible season. So unfortunately, that lines up with Brandon Pfaadt. I mean, I really wish we could get a marquee matchup there of Gallen versus Keller, because that would have been outstanding. The battle of 2.3 ERAs. But Brandon Pfaadt, it's going to be once again interesting to see how that guy on his first day of school there in that picture comes out in his fourth start. We want nothing but
can't stop doing that.
He's
to the
so
poor man.
wholesome in that picture. I can't stand it. Look at Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly looks like a guy I don't want to meet in a back alley, right? Brandon Pfaadt looks like he's going to give me $20 without me even asking him.
Zac Gallen he looks pretty wholesome.
Yeah, Zac Gallen. Right? Zac Gallen. I don't know. He looks like a troublemaker too, but Brandon Pfaadt, that kid's something else. But we're rooting for him, and we hope to see him continue the performance that he had in his last start. That's really what we want to see here. Like, can't go out there and expect him to no hit the Pirates or anything crazy like that. He's probably going to give up a couple runs and maybe go 5 innings, but that would still be pretty encouraging compared to what we saw in his first 2 starts.
Yeah, this kind of sets up similarly to the Marlins series. I think right. It was Pfaadt against Luzardo, who was like by far the best pitcher for the Marlins in that series, and then Gallen and Kelly both had pretty favorable pitching matchups as they often do. There are some interesting pitchers in here. Contreras is an interesting one for the Pirates. He's only 23 years old. So swing and miss stuff has not quite been there for him, like the Pirates might have been hoping. He only has 32 strikeouts in 45 innings this year. But last year he was pretty good for them. He had a 3.79 ERA, primarily as a starter for the Pirates. So yeah, you don't want to take this for granted, even though you got two of your two best starting pitchers going in this series, because we saw how that went in against the Marlins, right? So hopefully the D-backs can avoid repeating that.
We have a very long wait until our Corbin Carroll bobblehead giveaway night at Chase Field. But in the meantime, you can grab up one of these little beautiful pieces of artwork at our friends at Foco.com. They're a leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, and most importantly, bobbleheads. Bobbleheads are what we want. Bobbleheads are what baseball fans crave, and they have tons of them. Again, I can't stop talking about this one. It doesn't even show up on camera as well as it should. It's like an Arizona sunset. It's absolutely gorgeous, and you can get it at Foco.
It's like an unidentified person too, right?
Jesse's tried so hard to figure out what player this is.
Like,
he just can't accept.
After some human being.
He just can't accept. It's just a guy. It's just a guy.
He's a left-handed hitter.
Yeah,
so that kind of narrows it down, right?
Man, he's going to start fucking pulling up all the Cactus League left-handed hitters.
Josh Rojas.
He's going to figure it out. But Foco does have the best officially licensed gear for all sports and fandoms. Of course, it's spring. It's baseball season. They got more than just that. They got the big hats. They got the Aloha shirts. They have everything you need for baseball. And of course, Foco always has our back for Arizona sports, and they have yours too. Get the best gear around by visiting www.foco.com and using code PHNX for all non-presale items. Use the promo code PHNX and you will get 10% off over at foco.com. Also, check out More Furniture. You're going to need someplace to set up all of your beautiful bobbleheads. Once you get them, get yourself one of those like cabinets, a display case. Get all of that over at morefurniture.com. Then you get yourself a fancy recliner to go right next to it. You watch your TV, you watch your baseball, you have yourself the best life. So whatever you want to buy for your home, you can find it at morefurniture.com, and they will deliver it with their white glove delivery service that we got here at our office. Fall asleep in a recliner you love from More Furniture, and you can save big on the best furniture in the Valley when you head over to morefurniture.com. Well, that's all we got. We've got to figure out something to do with our afternoon. Me and Jesse are probably going to look into the PitchCom system more and see how we can hack it. But
yeah, we're going to hack it. I'm not leaving this office until I've figured out how to hack
they
PitchCom,
have way too many guys that went to Harvard and stuff in baseball. Like, Jesse pointed out, like, you think those analysts are just there to break down pitches and tendencies? They're there to figure out how to hack the PitchCom system 100%. But that's what we're going to do. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. This guy's at Jesse N. Friedman. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG and a little bark at the end. Our show is at PHNX_sports, or _D-backs, but all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We appreciate you guys stopping by. On behalf of the entire crew here, we thank you for your time. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when you kill a bird with a baseball.